gonna need that for a while. Pfft. Or will I? As none of you have been wondering what I've been up to lately, I thought I might as well start a web series. And in this web series, I'm going to pack it full of tidbits and insights and behind the scenes footage of my life as a drag performer. We're going to go and venture out onto the streets. We're going to leave the appropriate amount of distance between me and everything else out there. But why am I going to do this? Well, what I would like to go and find out is, could the everyday person find in their immediate neighbourhood all the things it might take to be a home drag king in these times of isolation? My web series will be appropriately titled All Dragged Up and Nowhere to Go. So yes, let's see what we could find out there. And remember, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Bits. Found some stuff. Just look.
What's going on? I want to know as well.
For a variety of costume hacks, a basic sewing kit is all you need. Black thread, sewing needles, quick hemming webbing stuff. You can use this for costume hacks as well. So, yes. Painting on an effect of a beard. You might use water activated face paint, so I'm trying to think of some alternatives. I'm thinking gravy granules, coffee grounds stuck on with honey, Vaseline. Let's see, we're going to do all this and see if it works. Beard fodder. Now, one of the other specialist products that drag kings tend to use for making the stubble appearance is called a stipple sponge. Now that potentially is a product that might be difficult to come by. However, we're going to get creative, obviously, in these times. Needs want. No, I's going to touch it because I's going to buy it, alright? The last Vaseline. We're going to use this potentially as an alternative to spirit gum. If only I had the extra cash. Okay, so we've just come to a neighbourhood drugstore, you know, the ones that sort of sell makeup, beauty products, toiletries, health stuff. And I'm going to point out some of the types of makeup items that, if you don't already have, you could try and find in your neighbourhood. So, of course, if you want to change the appearance of the face shape that you have, you do this with certain amounts of contouring and shading, and you can, the very basic form of that, use just a brown eyeshadow. So if that's all you can find, that's good enough as far as I'm concerned for the home drag king. But if you can get hold of something like this, you know, the contouring palette, highlighters that will allow you to do different tones of shades of brown and then highlight. Also mascara. Look for things like primer and fix and go type fixing sprays, but also hairspray works just as well. One of these types of gel liners, grab one of those. It's kind of like a pen liner thing. Yeah. It's all here, folks. Now, to be fair, you could use your fingers to put all this on your face, but if you can get hold of an array of makeup brushes and a beauty blender, go for it. Another form of applicator that you could easily get yourself, cotton buds, grab some of they. And in terms of removing things that might be hard to remove, waterproof makeup and such like that, make sure you grab yourself those types of removers. At the very least, you could find stuff like this, baby oil, evidently, as I was told, in the baby section. Don't need that. Okay, I'm going to grab one of these because it's not your normal everyday sponge. It's got some hipster additions to it that's kind of like much coarser and got a bit of texture to it, so I'm going to see if this could be a cool alternative to the stipple sponge, specialty sponge that you would use for making stubble effects. We'll see. Okay, now this just possibly is the most hilariously titled product I've found today so far, but donut bun rings. I do want to confirm I have used this in lieu of getting a stipple sponge. So it also looks like a cat's bum. Okay, so let's see what we've got in my cupboards. I do cook. Okay. Paprika. Maybe coriander. Oh yeah. Possibly. Yes. Oh, a bit too expensive. Yep. Okay. Continuity. So we're going to have some fun over the next 6 weeks, and each episode I'm going to take an element of making a drag king look of the face, and we'll test out whether some of these products that you've found in your neighborhood or cupboards can actually compete against some of the more specialist products and materials that I generally use. Now, on that note, I want to say a word here about the drag king definition. I often get asked what is a drag king, and in my opinion it's the performance of masculinity, and in that sense, as masculinity is a spectrum, a drag king can be anything along that masculinity spectrum, and what you'll see in the episodes is my interpretation of masculinity, and it's not the only interpretation out there. And so during the course of this series I will give some shout outs to some of my favourite drag kings in the Scottish scene, which is a really diverse and interesting growing scene. And on that note, I also want to say that anyone can do drag. It doesn't matter what your gender identity or your sexual preference. So if you want to have a go as well, feel free to send me the results. I'd love to see them, and I'll add them to some of the social media and maybe even feature them on the webisodes as well. So in future episodes there'll be different segments for you to enjoy, as well as the home drag king experiment, and these will include things such as an Ask Me Anything segment. And also, if you want to support anything we're doing, we and whose army? Yeah. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to support by throwing some virtual tips my way, I would more than welcome those in these times of need where we're stuck here and I'm out of work and blah, 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 blah. But it's purely up to you. The webisodes will remain free, and there'll be some elements of behind the scenes things that I'll share on Instagram as well. But if you do want to support, go to my website, doriantfist.com, and you can see a list of the virtual tips tiers and some of the cool exclusive bonus content that you'll get. There'll also be some special guests dropping in, aka some of my favorite drag looks, which I will feature each week in a segment aptly titled Home Disco, in which I will put to good use the fog machine and the strobe light that I bought for a show that was cancelled. I think that was meant to be this weekend, in fact. Yep. Waste not, want not. And those characters, there'll be elements of the makeup or the props or the costuming. I will break down in an extended video and show how I did those, and they'll be part of the bonus content as well, and you can find out more details about how to get access to that on my website, doriantfist.com. What do you think about that?